Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Shifts and Pucks News Pack for Wednesday, June 15th. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Shifts and Pucks, Facebook.com Shifts and Pucks, YouTube.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get, as well as Twitch.com Shifts and Pucks. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as in the Area 51 Sports Network. As today is Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. We have a Shift in Pucks news clip with Christian Sean and I picking the winners. Christian Sean have went with Colorado. I am going with Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be a fun series. Lots of great stars. Probably one of the more exciting series in a while. Probably, I guess, OV Vegas would be the closest one recently. Tampa Dallas wasn't super excited. I think it was just a weird final. And then Tampa Montreal was weird. This is going to be a good, fresh final. Two great organizations. We got a team destined to be an official dynasty and a team that probably has the ability not only to knock off the Tampa Bay Lightning, but probably develop their own dynasty. Two great franchises. This could be the first of a couple Stanley Cup finals for them, like we saw with Pittsburgh and Detroit in the late 2008, 2009. Could be something like that. So something could be the start of something special there. And uh, of course, Braden Point expected to be back in the lineup for Tampa Bay. Looks like he is in. So that's a big ad for Tampa. Just one of the better players in this game. Nazem Kadri still day-to-day, looking like Darcy Kempfer will get the start for Colorado. So I think the series is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll see a lot more of it. And I think it's going to be a long series. I have Tampa in 7. We have a poll on the Shifts and Pucks where we kind of broke everything down. The only thing I didn't put was the goaltender, because I think you have to put Andrei Vasilevsky as is the best goalie in the world. So in terms of goaltending, there's no question about that. Andrei Vasilevsky is probably an all-time great goaltender right now, and his career isn't over yet. So we'll see about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's not the only game today in the National Hockey or in hockey. We've got Game 7 of the OHL happening. It's the Hamilton Bulldogs and the Windsor Spitfires. The winner wins the OHL championship and the advances to the Memorial Cup. Hamilton had a 22-game winning streak this year. Looked like they were going to cruise. Windsor kept fighting back, forcing a game. They, of course, won 5-2, forcing this Game 7 in Hamilton. That's going to be a lot of fun there as well. So that's on TSN, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. So watch that as well. You can watch that as well. Back to the NHL, some coaching news to be talking about here. First of all, let's go with the Golden Knights, as they have hired Bruce Cassidy, who was unemployed for 6 days. He was the coach in Boston on June 6th. 6 straight seasons of playoffs with Bruce Cassidy. The Vegas Golden Knights are hoping Bruce Cassidy can lead them back to the playoffs as they hired him. He's 57. He replaces, of course, Pete DeBoer. We'll get to him in a second. And, of course, Vegas missing the playoffs. The Bruins got to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Final. Interesting hire. There's a lot of questions about what happened in Boston. You've got the Patrice Bergeron situation. You got injuries to McAvoy, Grzelcyk, and Marchand that extend into the season. You have Jake DeBrusk that requested a trade that some say had something to do with Bruce Cassidy. So we'll see how Cassidy fits. We're going to see some changes in terms of style in Vegas, but he does bring some success to a team that desires success. And so Vegas, a lot of people picked Vegas to be in the Pacific, the winner of the Pacific Division. So they're going to rebound. They got Jack Eichel. They're going to have Jack Eichel for a full season, possibly at 100%. They're going to try to get healthy, but they're going to make some changes there. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers have reportedly offered, according to Kevin Weeks in his video, has reportedly offered the job to John Tortorella. course, Jordan Tortorella, 63. Tortorella coached Columbus recently. Probably remember his feud with Pierre-Luc Dubois that ended up Dubois being benched and then traded to Patrick Laine in Winnipeg. Of course, led the Rangers to a Stanley Cup Final, coached in Vancouver as well, and of course 2004 Tampa Bay Lightning getting them to the Stanley Cup. Swept the Lightning back in 2019 in the 2019 playoffs with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's a polarizing guy, no question about it. You either love or hate John Tortorella. I think that for some people with the Flyers, it's time for a rebuild in Philadelphia. It's just what they're doing isn't working. They need to kind of reset that organization, but I don't think that's what that organization and Comcast and all the money that they put in want to do. They want success now. Feels a bit Vancouver Canucks mid-2010s to me, but we'll see what happens with Philadelphia there as well. As far as Barry Trotz, no news. Pete DeBoer, they're still looking like he's the odds-on favorite in Dallas. Not hearing Rick Tocchet's name connected with anywhere. There's still some coaches on there. I felt like Barry Trotz was the first domino to follow, but it turned out to be Bruce Cassidy. We'll have to see. Still possibility, free beer for life if Barry Trotz ends up in Winnipeg. That there was an offer by a beer company in Winnipeg there as well. So that's the coaching situation. To Calgary, there was a report that hit Twitter that Johnny Gaudreau signed an 8-year, $9.5 million contract that was quickly refuted by Salim Valji and Ryan Leslie from Dean Blundell. Tweeted that out. No word, nothing has happened on that. And so we're still waiting in Calgary about Johnny Gaudreau. I would indicate maybe there's been some progress made. We haven't heard anything yet, so still waiting on that. As far as Vancouver, no news in terms of their restricted free agents. Some are expecting Miller to be qualified or Jim Brockmester to be qualified. Questions about Miller, all that still going on. There's still word about Andres Kuzmenko, who I think is in the interest in Vancouver and Edmonton, a Russian free agent. So that's what's going on there in terms of what's going on in Vancouver. But of course, it's an anniversary today, June 15th, 2011 was the 11-year anniversary of Game 7 of the Boston Bruins Vancouver Canucks series. Bruce Cassidy's former Boston Bruins beat the Canucks 4-0 and to win Game 7 and win the Stanley Cup. And then shortly after that we had the explosion at the post office and the riots in downtown Vancouver, which just set the city aback. It was just it's a dark day in Vancouver Canucks sports history, not only because of the Stanley Cup, but of course what happened after that. So we will acknowledge that. And one more thing we do want to acknowledge as well before we go is longtime Edmonton reporter Terry Jones announced that he's been laid off by Post Media. He's been around. He's been the staple in Edmonton Post Media for a long time, covering the Oilers, covering the then Eskimos, now Edmonton Elks, curling, whatever else in Edmonton. He's been a staple there, and it's just a tough day for Terry and his family. His tweet, my last scoop at 1 p.m. today after beginning my career at the Edmonton Journal in 1967. So think about that, 55 years of a career. I received a phone call from Toronto informing me my position had been eliminated by Post Media. Thank you so much for reading. Hardly the way I hoped it would end. Tough day for Terry. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's in the Canadian Football and Curling Hall of Fame. He's in so many Hall of Fames. Alberta Edmonton Sports Hall of Fame, Canadian Sports Media Lifetime Achievement inductee. Like him or not, he's been at this for years, and it's tough to see someone lose their job that way. But we'll follow up here on Game 2 tomorrow between the Avalanche and Lightning. We'll do a review of that. Of course, you follow us all individually on Twitter. Sean Beardy Canuck 03, Tyler TNOBLE, Devin, Gordhouse09, Christian Schneitz, SCHNEIDZ. I am KVOLE, Shifts and Pucks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Subscribe wherever you get your audio, as well as on the Area 51 Sports Network. Thanks, everyone, for watching and listening, and we will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now. Oh, before I go, forgot one more news story here, and then I'll read, and then we'll say goodbye. The Stockton Heat played their last game. Forgot about that. The Chicago Wolves knocked them off 3-0. So the Stockton Heat have been eliminated from the AHL playoffs. That was their last game in Stockton. They will be moving to Calgary next year for the season. Of course, question is in Calgary where they play. But I did want to mention, sorry, I did forget that. But I wanted to add that as well. But again, so congratulations to all the work they did in Stockton. Good year for Stockton. Big year for Dustin Wolf, Jacob Pelche, and Matthew Phillips specifically. I think have made big steps and going to be interesting strides for the Calgary Flames camp next year. But now again, thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we will talk to you all very soon. Bye for sure now.